Hey everyone, Greg here, founder of Save Your Way to Rich. Today I'd like to share an experience with you that actually inspired me to start this website. It's an experience I had with Mint Mobile. You see, my brother told me that he'd started getting his cell service from a new provider and that it only cost him $15 a month. When I heard this, I was intrigued to say the least, because at the time, my cell phone service cost me at least 5 times that much. Shortly thereafter, when my family switched to Mint, from the major provider that we've been with for years, we saved nearly $1,500 per year. You heard me right. Nearly $1,500 per year for a 2-person plan. Now, granted, we were definitely spending way too much on our previous provider, and hopefully you've made much better cellular choices than we did. But that being said, I've looked all over the place since learning about Mint, and I haven't found a single provider, not one, that offers the same value for such a low price to anyone, regardless of whether you need a plan for 1, 2, or even 20 people. So let's take a look at what Mint has to offer.
Mint Mobile offers 3 basic plans. Each plan offers unlimited talk and unlimited text. The only difference between the plans is how much high-speed 4G LTE data each one offers. Depending on how much data you need, you can choose a plan that gives you 2, 5, or 10 gigabytes of high-speed data each month. The 2 gigabyte plan is available for as low as $15 per month. The 5 gigabyte plan for $20 per month, and even the 10 gigabyte plan can be yours for $25 per month. To give you an idea of about how much data you might need, the average American tends to use anywhere from 2 to 5 gigabytes per month. So unless you use a lot more data than the average Joe, the 10 gigabyte plan should function practically like an unlimited plan for you, because most people will never use that much anyway. Or, if you're like me, the 2 gigabyte plan may be enough for you. In fact, when I signed up for Mint Mobile and checked how much data I'd been using each month on my unlimited plan, I found out that I'd been using less than a gigabyte per month, while still paying for an expensive unlimited plan. In other words, I had been paying so much money for data that I never used and didn't need. I'll talk a little bit more about data later on in the video, but let's move on for now. To help you see just how much money you could save on your cell phone bill, let's do a quick price comparison. A 2-person unlimited plan with Verizon is currently listed at $130 per month. A 10 gigabyte plan with Mint Mobile is only $25 per person, so $50 a month for 2 people. That's a big difference. Now, you may be wondering why I compared the price of an unlimited plan with that of a 10 gigabyte plan. First of all, Mint actually does offer unlimited data with all their plans. That data will just be at a slower speed once you use up your 2, 5, or 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. But that means that you won't find yourself completely without data, even if you happen to use up all of your high-speed data allotment. It also means that you won't be charged anything for going over your data allotment like some companies do. Probably the most important thing to remember, though, is that unless you use around 3 times as much data as the average American, 10 gigabytes might as well be unlimited as far as you're concerned. Now, let's go back to the price comparison because we're not done yet. Carriers like Verizon almost always add a bunch of taxes and fees onto your bill each month. In fact, the average cell phone service charges you nearly $20 per month in taxes and fees. So the actual price of that 2-person Verizon plan is really closer to $150. Whereas the only taxes and fees that Mint charges you come to about $1 a month. Because those fees are so small, and I'd really like to keep the math as simple as possible, I'm not even going to add that in here. But you can see that with the fees included, this Verizon plan is nearly 3 times the price that Mint would charge you. And if, like me, 2 gigabytes of data per month is enough for you, then the Mint price goes down to $30 for 2 people, which would make the Verizon plan approximately 5 times the price of a Mint plan. And let's not forget that there's also a 5 gigabyte plan for $20 per person or $40 for 2 people. Okay, I hope I'm not beating a dead horse here, But I really want you to understand how much you could save by switching to Mint. Because I would assume that for almost anyone watching this video, cell phone coverage is something that you'll be buying for years and years to come. So let's take a look at the yearly prices of these plans. With Verizon, you would be paying nearly $1,800 per year, but only $600 with Mint's 10 gigabyte plan, $480 with their 5 gigabyte plan, or $360 with their 2 gigabyte plan. Do you think you'll still be using a cell phone in 5 years? If so, then the Verizon plan would cost you close to $9,000 over a 5-year period, while Mint's plans would only cost you $3,000, $2,400, or $1,800 respectively. I want you to really think about this for a second. With the money you'd save by switching to Mint Mobile, you could afford to go on a couple's cruise once a year for at least 4 of those 5 years. So I hope you're asking yourself, do I really want to keep sinking all that money into an overpriced cell phone plan? Or do I want to use it to enrich my life? I do realize that this may sound a little too good to be true, which makes many people wonder, how is it that they can offer such low prices for cell service? And if you are wondering this, then that just makes you a smart human being and a careful shopper. So good for you. I asked the same question before I started using Mint. Thankfully, they have this great little intro video where a green cartoon fox, their mascot, explains just how it is that Mint Mobile is able to offer these low prices. And it basically comes down to 3 things. Number 1, the principle of buying in bulk. The more months of service you purchase in advance, the less you pay. I like to call it the Costco principle, and it's something we've all become accustomed to. That's why people will sometimes leave the grocery store with an entire cart full of toilet paper, because there was an amazing deal. And they know that they'll use it all eventually. Most mainstream cell phone plans don't let us do that, though. They know you're going to be buying phone service month after month, year after year. Often they even make you sign a contract to continue buying from them for a year or 2. But they make you pay for it 1 month at a time. Full price. Every time. Mint Mobile, instead, lets you purchase in 3, 6, or 12-month increments, and gives you lower prices the more you buy. Before I go on, though, it should be noted that when you start up with Mint, they'll give you their cheapest price for 3 months, so you can try it out and make sure you like it before buying a 6 or 12-month plan. I know I really appreciated that when I signed up with Mint. The second reason why Mint Mobile is able to offer such low prices is because they do all their business online, and therefore they have no physical stores. That means they don't have to pay for the property or the employees that come with running physical stores, and they pass those savings on to you, the customer. Think of it like the Amazon of cell phone providers. Online business is the way of the future. And the third reason that Mint is able to offer these low prices is because they don't try to sell you a bunch of data that you don't need. As I mentioned earlier, unless you use about 3 times as much data as the average American, there's no reason for you to pay for an expensive unlimited plan. But just like cable companies who are happy to charge you for over 180 channels, when the average family only watches about 17 channels, big cell phone companies are happy to let you pay for unlimited data, even though they know that most people simply don't need it. So unless you know that you use a ton of data, there's really no reason for you to fork over all that extra money for data that you never use. In fact, you may remember that earlier in the video, I mentioned how much data I had been using on my pricey unlimited plan before I switched to Mint. It was less than a gigabyte a month, so even Mint's smallest data plan was more than twice what I needed. Their largest, more than 10 times what I needed, and still for a fraction of the cost. A wise financial philosopher once said, "Don't let someone force feed you more data than you'll ever need, especially if you have to pay 3 to 5 times as much to do so. That just doesn't make sense. I mean, come on, you deserve better than that." Words to live by if you ask me. Oh, and this financial philosopher also wanted to let you know that Mint offers a 7-day money-back guarantee from the time that you start your service. So if for some reason you change your mind and don't want to get your cell phone coverage from Mint, they've still got you covered. Well, looks like it's about time to wrap up this introduction to Mint Mobile. If you've been paying attention, you should now have a pretty good idea of just how much money you could save by switching to Mint, as well as a solid understanding of how it is they're able to offer such low prices. What you do now is up to you, but allow me to offer some quick guidance for your next steps. If you'd like to compare Mint Mobile prices against those of other carriers, take a look at the table below. If you have a question that wasn't answered in this video, head on down to the Frequently Asked Questions section and see if you can find the answer there. And if you feel like you're ready to start saving money by switching to Mint, there are tutorials below to walk you through the process and make it as simple as possible.